What's happening, Bears Nation? And if you've been waiting for the kind of news that could completely reshape this franchise's trajectory, then you need to hear every single word I'm about to tell you in this video. Something massive is brewing in the front office, something that could transform our defense from mediocre to absolutely dominant overnight. And the implications of what I'm about to share with you are going to blow your mind. Welcome to Bears News Fan Report, your #1 destination for breaking news, exclusive updates, and all the latest rumors surrounding our beloved Chicago Bears. I'm bringing you information today that has the potential to change everything we thought we knew about this team's future. And trust me when I say this, by the time we reach the end of this video, you're going to understand exactly why this offseason could be the most important in recent Bears history. So stick with me through every moment of this breakdown because what's coming is absolutely game-changing. Let me paint a picture for you of where we are right now as a franchise. Under first-year head coach Ben Johnson, the Chicago Bears have been exceeding expectations in ways that have surprised even the most optimistic fans. We're sitting at 7 wins and 3 losses through 10 games, which represents a massive improvement over recent seasons and shows that this coaching staff knows how to get the most out of our roster. Johnson has brought energy, creativity, and a winning mentality to Hollis Hall, and the results speak for themselves. But here's the thing that every true Bears fan understands. Being good isn't enough. We don't celebrate 7-3 records in Chicago. We celebrate championships. We celebrate dominance. We celebrate being the team that everyone else fears when they see us on the schedule. General Manager Ryan Poles has done an excellent job building the foundation of this roster, making smart draft picks, managing the salary cap, and creating a culture of accountability and excellence. But as we look ahead to the offseason, as we start thinking about what moves need to be made to take this team from playoff contender to legitimate Super Bowl threat, there's one glaring weakness that stands out above all others. Our defense, which has been the identity of this franchise for decades, hasn't been performing at the level we need it. The numbers don't lie, and when you look at where we rank defensively across the league, it's concerning for anyone who wants to see this team competing for titles. Currently, the Bears' defense is allowing 364.6 yards per game, which puts us near the bottom of the league in total defense. Even more troubling is our scoring defense, where we're giving up 26.4 points per game. Those are not championship-level numbers. Those are the kind of statistics that get you bounced in the first round of the playoffs, if you even make it that far. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. We've got young talent. We've got potential. We just need time to develop. And there's some truth to that. But when you have a quarterback on a rookie contract, when you have a window of opportunity opening up, you can't afford to wait for development. You need to strike while the iron is hot. One of the biggest issues plaguing our defense has been the lack of consistent pass rush. We've managed just 21 sacks on the entire season, which ties us for the 9th fewest in the NFL. Think about that for a second. In a league where getting to the quarterback is absolutely essential defensive success, we're barely generating any pressure. When opposing quarterbacks have clean pockets, when they have time to go through their progressions and find open receivers, it doesn't matter how good your secondary is. You're going to get picked apart. We need a game wrecker, someone who opposing offensive coordinators have to game plan around, someone who can single-handedly disrupt an entire offensive scheme. Ryan Poles understands this better than anyone. He knows that if the Bears finish this season strong, if we prove that we're legitimate contenders, then the time to be aggressive is now. Not next year, not 3 years from now, but this coming offseason. When you have momentum, when you have a winning culture established, that's when you make the bold moves that separate good teams from great ones. And according to recent reports, Poles is already looking at potential targets who could elevate this defense to elite status. We're talking about impact players, proven commodities, guys who have demonstrated at the highest level that they can dominate. Now, here's where things get really interesting. There's one name that keeps coming up in discussions about potential Bears targets. One player who would instantly transform our defense and send shockwaves throughout the entire NFC North. This is a player who has been the subject of trade speculation for months. Someone who plays for a team that's currently struggling and might be willing to move on from their star if the price is right. This is a player who by himself has more sacks this season than our entire team combined. Let that sink in for a moment. One player with more sacks than all 21 that our entire roster has accumulated. The player I'm talking about is widely regarded as the best edge rusher in the entire National Football League. He's a multiple-time Pro Bowler, a Defensive Player of the Year winner, and someone who has consistently produced at an elite level year after year. When he lines up across from an offensive tackle, that tackle knows he's in for the longest day of his professional life. This is the kind of player who changes games, who forces offenses to keep tight ends in for extra protection, who makes quarterbacks uncomfortable even when he doesn't get home with the sack. His mere presence on the field elevates everyone around him. According to a detailed proposal from a major sports publication, the Chicago Bears could potentially acquire this superstar pass rush in a blockbuster trade that would send shockwaves across the league. The proposed package is massive, as you would expect when discussing one of the premier defensive players in football. We're talking about the Bears sending 4 draft picks to complete this deal: a first-round pick in 2026, a second-round pick in 2026, a first-round pick in 2027, and a fourth-round pick in 2027. That's a king's ransom, no doubt about it. But when you're talking about acquiring a generational talent, when you're talking about a player who could be the final piece of a championship puzzle, you have to be willing to pay the price. Now, before I reveal exactly who this player is, let me give you some more context about why this trade makes so much sense for the Chicago Bears. ESPN's Adam Schefter, who is as plugged in as anyone in the NFL, has reported that the Bears actually pursued this player before the trade deadline earlier this season. That tells you everything you need to know about how serious Ryan Poles is about upgrading the pass rush. The fact that Chicago was willing to make a move mid-season shows that this is a priority, and if they couldn't get it done before the deadline, you better believe they're going to come back even harder during the offseason. The team this player currently plays for has been adamant about not trading him, even when he requested a trade during the previous offseason. They threw a bunch of money at him, convinced him to stay, and thought they could build a contender around him. But here's the reality. That team is struggling badly this season. Their playoff hopes are essentially dead. And if this player comes back with another serious trade request during the offseason, they might not have any choice but to move him. That's when the Bears need to pounce. That's when Ryan Poles needs to put together the most aggressive offer possible and bring this game changer to Chicago. So who is this player? Who is the edge rusher that could transform the Bears defense and make us legitimate Super Bowl contenders? Bears Nation, I'm talking about Myles Garrett. Yes, you heard that right. Myles Garrett, the Cleveland Browns superstar defensive end, could potentially be wearing the navy blue and orange next season. Can you imagine what that would mean for this defense? Can you picture Garrett lining up on our defensive line, terrorizing NFC North quarterbacks week after week? The thought of it should have every Bears fan absolutely fired up. Garrett has 14 sacks this season, which is 7 more than our entire team has managed. He's been doing this year after year, consistently putting up double-digit sack numbers and making life miserable for opposing offenses. He's in his prime at 29 years old, so we're not talking about acquiring a player on the decline. We're talking about getting someone who still has several elite years ahead of him. Adding Garrett to our defensive front would instantly elevate us to the upper echelon of NFL defenses and dramatically improve our Super Bowl odds. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What about the cost? Not just the draft picks, but the financial commitment. Garrett is on a massive contract worth $160 million, and the Bears are projected to have only about $1.2 million in cap space for 2026. That's a legitimate concern, and it's something Ryan Poles will need to navigate carefully. But here's the thing about the NFL salary cap. Where there's a will, there's a way. When was the last time we had all the pieces in place to make a serious run? With Caleb Williams developing, with our offensive weapons improving, with Ben Johnson's coaching, we're building something special here. This is not the time to be conservative. This is the time to be bold, to make the moves that separate pretenders from contenders. The proposed trade package of 2 first-round picks, a second-rounder, and a fourth-rounder is significant, but it's also exactly what you'd expect to pay for a player of Garrett's caliber. The Browns would have multiple high picks to rebuild their roster, and the Bears would get the defensive cornerstone they desperately need. It's the kind of trade that could work out well for both teams if executed properly. Looking at our current roster construction, adding Garrett will give us one of the most fearsome defensive fronts in football. Imagine the possibilities. Imagine the pressure we could generate. Imagine how much easier it would be for our secondary to cover when quarterbacks are constantly under duress. This is the kind of addition that takes a defense from average to elite, from being a weakness to being a strength that can carry us through the playoffs. So here's my take on all of this. Bears Nation, if Myles Garrett becomes available this offseason, Ryan Poles needs to do whatever it takes to bring him to Chicago. Yes, the cost is high. Yes, there are cap complications to work through. Yes, giving up multiple first-round picks is a significant commitment. But when you have a chance to acquire a generational talent, when you have a chance to add the piece that could put you over the top, you have to take that shot. We've been patient. We've been rebuilding. We've been developing young players. Now it's time to go all in and show the rest of the league that the Chicago Bears are back and ready to compete for championships. What do you think about this potential blockbuster trade? Bears fans, would you be willing to give up 4 draft picks to land Myles Garrett? Do you think Ryan Poles should be aggressive this offseason and make a move like this? How would you feel about seeing Garrett in a Bears uniform terrorizing Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the NFC North? Drop all your thoughts in the comments below because I want to hear from every single one of you. This is the kind of move that could define this franchise for the next 5 years. And your perspective matters. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay on top of every Bears development, smash that like button right now. Subscribe to Bears News Fan Report if you haven't already, because this is where you'll get the fastest update, the deepest analysis, and all the breaking news about our team. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video, especially during this crucial time when roster decisions and off-season moves are being discussed. Share this with every Bears fan you know, because news this big needs to spread throughout the entire fan base. I'll be here bringing you updates as this story develops, so stay locked in. Bear down. Let's go get Myles Garrett.